Well, as you can see, we're here trying to finish up our projects around the house. We got the patios in, we got the outside awning in for the front on the front porch, and now we've got Roberto's flooring coming in, and they're going to finish up the backsplash around our countertops. And these guys has worked for us. They've done a half a dozen jobs for us, and they just know what they're doing, and they do a great job, and they show up when they say they're going to show up and do what they say they're going to do. Now here, if you watch, what he's doing is he's taping off the walls around the outer edges and across the counter and underneath the cabinet, so when he does all of his grout work, the grout doesn't get all over everything. What he's doing here is he's prepping for the grout. He's got a little tool that he uses and goes between all of the cracks and the crevices of the tile that he's got on the wall behind the backsplash, cleaning it out, making it better for the grout to take hold. So when he gets all that cleaned out, and he went through the whole thing and cleaned all of them out, then he'll come back and he'll start pushing in his grout work. Okay, the grout work is getting ready to start. He's getting prepped. He's got his little tool. He's added just enough water to make it sticky. And now he's got, I don't know what you call these tools, but it's like it's like almost like a big hard sponge that you use to push the grout on, and then you work it in. And then at a 45-degree angle, you can come back with that same tool on the clean side of that tool, and you can actually scrape 90% of the grout off. And you do that once or twice, and you just keep pushing that grout in further on each one of those crevices or the spaces between the tile. And that's what he's doing. And around the cabinets and around the counter, he took extra steps with another tool, pushing the grout in nice and clean. As you can see here, now we're doing the big grout work. It's like he went around the edges and done all that first, and now he's got his big tool out and he's pushing the grout in through the whole thing. He just goes back and forth with that tool, pushing the grout more in, so you don't leave any air bubbles or any airspace in there. And then he'll go back and then he'll clean it off. And then the final work is once it's cleaned off and it turns to a haze, he'll take a sponge and a clean bucket of water, and then he'll come back and he'll wipe all that down. And he may wipe it down 2 or 3 times to get it good and clean. And then, if I remember right, it takes a good 24 to 48 hours for the grout to actually set up. The grout we're using on mine, I believe, was a silicone base, so it also makes it waterproof. We are now starting to use the sponge to wipe off the excess glaze, the sealer, and grout, and cleaning everything up and getting ready to finish the project. Okay, what's happening now is he's cleaned up the grout and the haze off of everything and wiped it down. And now he's finishing up the project by putting the wall plug covers, the light switch covers, and things like that back on. And then he'll take everything off the counter. He'll clean off the counter. And where he pulled the stove out, he even got on his hands and knees and cleaned the floor up. There really wasn't much down there, but he cleaned the floor up for us and everything. So after all this, he said, let's move on to our next step and show you the finishing project. Whoops, the floor supervisor has to come and inspect to make sure that it's done properly. and make sure that the mess is cleaned up, and to ask questions about things. And just to show you I'm not blowing smoke, behind the stove, bucket on the floor, sponge in hand, he's on his hands and knees, cleaning up the floor, wiping down the sides of the cabinets, wiped down the walls. He done all that. He didn't need to do any of that, but he did. That's Roberto's. They go a little bit extra. And he'll put everything back together the way it was supposed to be. And if I remember right, I think he even took a towel and some spray, and he even wiped the top of the stove off. Kind of made us feel like we were maybe not as clean as we should be. By the way, all the stuff on the left that you see right there, that's my coffee stuff. My morning Keurig is there, and my espresso.